Welcome everyone to the Wolves Den and another action figure review. Today we are looking at a pair of Transformers from the Titans Return line. We have the classic duo of Ravage and Rumble. These two figures used to be cassettes that would work with Soundwave, and while they apparently will work with the new Soundwave, they are not cassettes anymore. In fact, each of them has apparently 3 different forms, which is quite different than the old days. So let's open these guys up, take a look at them, and I'll tell you what I think. First, we're going to be taking a look at Rumble. Here he is in robot form as he comes out of the package. Let's take a look at his articulation real quick. His head rotates all the way around and does move back a bit and forward. His shoulders move up and down and rotate completely around. He's got an elbow bend and swivel, and his legs move out to the side all the way and forward all the way, and he's got a nice knee bend there also. So good articulation for this figure. Rumble does come with a blaster, which can peg into the side of his arm or into either hand, like so. Alright, get that out of there. As you can tell looking at this figure, it is made to be very reminiscent of the original G1 figure. The head sculpt is very nice, very good head sculpt, and very reminiscent of the original figure. Pretty much made to look like the original figure. The chest details, the gold details there are made to look like the original cassette version of the figure. The overall black and red design is made to look like the original figure. So looking at him, he does remind you of the original G1 cassette figure, although he is, designed completely different. But you do look at him and you go, hey, that's Rumble. That looks like Rumble. The only thing missing, the original figure had a couple of silver guns that, slotted into his back, or he could slot them onto his arms also. But this figure doesn't have that. That's about the one thing missing as far as, the homage to the original figure. Other details, his arms are kind of bulky. His hands just look bulky with that big chunk of plastic all around there. But it doesn't detract that much from him. Like I said, he does have a nice range of movement, in his various parts here. So you can pose him quite well. And get a good look at his back there. Not a whole lot of color to him, other than the golden, details there. The treads down there, the same kind of gold yellowish color. He's got his Decepticon symbol on his chest. Not a whole lot to him to look at, really, as far as color-wise or paint apps-wise, but I think they did a nice job here. So let me transform him quick into his other 2 modes. First, I'm going to put him in his tank mode. And I'm not going to go through how to do it. I'm just going to kind of do it real quick. It's not that difficult. But I just want to get it done so that everyone can see what he looks like in the different modes. One nice thing about these new Transformers is they do have these little pegs here that keep the parts in place. And there he is, mostly done, but then we take his blaster, and you see that's got a gap there that just plugs right into the front, like so. And now they can move it up and down a bit, And here we have Rumble as a tank. He does have little wheels on the bottom here. They're not good wheels, so they don't roll very well. Alright, now from this mode you can quickly, very quickly, get him into his tablet mode. Just requires a couple spinning parts there. And there he is in tablet mode. And you can even take the gun again and peg it into the side there, and it could be an antenna, I guess. And there he is in tablet mode. And you can see these decals or the stickers, you know, they're nice and shiny. You know, whatever information he is gathering or doing in tablet mode, you know, you can see it on the little screens there. And like I said, they are just stickers, they're not painted on or anything. Alright, so there is Rumble. Next we will take a look at Ravage. Okay, secondly we are taking a look at Ravage, and here he is in his plain mode, as he comes out of the package. Let's take a good look at that mode here. Got the front of the plane, got the yellow cockpit here, which will match the yellow eyes in Jaguar form. Alright. Now I'll transform him to his tablet mode. Again, I'm not going to go through the steps. Just going to try to quickly do this so you can just see the modes. He is not as easy to transform as Rumble is. Takes more maneuvering of parts here. Something's not alright. There we go. Yeah, definitely not as easy as Rumble. I mean, doesn't take that long, but he's not as smooth as it is to transform Rumble. But there he is. As you can see, he's got the shiny decals on there. See. So there's tablet mode. Alright, and lastly, the form everyone wants to see will be the Jaguar mode. And there we go. Alright, as you can see, Ravage is pretty basic as far as colors go, just black and gray, a little bit of silver up front here. But that's about it as far as colors go. So pretty basic looking. Well, he does, like I mentioned earlier, the yellow eyes. Does have this silver, looks like a hinge, but it's not. You know, it's just all solid plastic, so he can't bend at the neck or anything. But his head does move up and down. His legs do have a fair amount of movement. His feet bend at the knees, and then at the hips there. You know, so he can get a fair amount of positioning out of his legs. I'm not sure what to do with the wings there, or whatever they're supposed to be. His tail, I don't know. But there those are. And so that is Ravage in Jaguar mode. Alright, time to move on to my final thoughts on the two figures. Before I give my final thoughts on these two figures, I just want to discuss the modes of these figures. So they have 3 modes each. They have a tablet mode, they have the robot mode as you see here, and then they have the vehicle mode. And I think they did this just to kind of balance between the adult collector and the children that will be playing with these toys. The adult collector wants something similar to what he had when he was a kid back in the 80s. And so they can't do cassettes because that's too old school, way too old school. So they don't want to do cassettes. So they want to do something that the kids would understand. So they'll do tablets. But also, kids would find tablets boring as far as a robot turning into a tablet. So why not have it turn into something else? So we'll make them turn into vehicles too. So they end up having 3 forms because they want to appeal to everybody, and for it to make sense to everybody, the figures end up having 3 different modes instead of 2. So I can understand that. You know, it makes sense to me that they would do that. You know, they're trying to appeal to everybody they can with these figures, so let's have them have 3 forms instead of 2. And in the end, you know, as an adult collector, I can live with that. I understand it. Makes sense to me. It doesn't really hurt the figure at all. Well, maybe it does. But not as far as Rumble is concerned. So I'm going to talk about Rumble first. Rumble, I think, you know, is a fine figure. I really like Rumble. I think they did a really good job with him. His articulation is good. His look is good. He's very reminiscent of the original Rumble while still being different. You know, the fact that he turns into a tank doesn't bother me. The fact that he turns into a tablet instead of a cassette doesn't bother me. In robot mode, which is the mode that matters, ultimately, he looks good. His arms are a little bulky. You know, his hands are pretty useless. But overall, he's a really nicely designed figure. He's got a good look. I really don't have any problems with him. Ravage, on the other hand, I think was hurt by the whole having him turn into a tablet, because Ravage looks terrible. This figure just looks terrible. I really dislike this figure. He's a real disappointment. And I think he's the biggest disappointment to me because Ravage is one of my favorite Transformers. And this figure does not do him justice. This figure makes him look bulky and awkward and ugly. I mean, from this top, he looks like a box from the top. You know, he should not look like a box. He should look like a sleek, you know, Jaguar that he is. No, he just looks bulky and ugly. There are some angles, like if you look at him from the front, you know, slightly angled like that, he looks pretty good. He doesn't look that bad. But as soon as you start turning him around, he just looks so weird. He's like missing, it just looks like he's missing his body. I mean, you just got this, you know, weird top part here, and then this, is this supposed to be a tail? Are those wings? What is this back part here? I don't know. He's just ugly. I could go on about how bad he is. Like I said, the head sculpt is nice. I like the articulation in the feet, but he's just bulky and ugly. He just does not look like he should. This is a very disappointing figure, and that just makes me sad. It really, ultimately, it just makes me sad that, you know, the new current Ravage is just so ugly looking. You know, I really would like a much better looking one, and Hasbro has disappointed me here. So, to sum up, Rumble rocks. He's awesome. Ravage, sadly, stinks. Okay, That is my review of these two figures today. I hope you enjoyed it and hope it was informative to you. Hope to be back soon with another action figure review. Until then, thank you for watching.